Hi, my name is Leigh and I am a legal recruiter with Juror Solutions. I have been here for over 15 years, and we've decided to create a web series called The 411 with Leigh. The point of this web series is to help you, as somebody in the legal field that's looking for a job, to find a job. So what this means is we're going to put a monthly web series together that's going to give you tips on what your LinkedIn profile should look like, what your resume format should look like, some interview tips, some job tips, some job searching tips, things like that. That's really just going to help you. We'll probably have some guest speakers, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to email me at lnovak@jsl-hq.com, and who knows, maybe your question will make it on air. Two last things: you want to keep your LinkedIn profile current, and you want to utilize connections. If you don't have any, start gathering some connections. A friend of mine recently said, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have. This advice is brilliant. If you are looking to move up the ladder at your firm or your corporation, look at who's above you. That's what you should be wearing. So the theme of this is do not lie on your resume. Be truthful in your education, your skill set, your job descriptions, your salary. I didn't touch on the salary before, but it could ask for a pay stub. So be accurate on all that when searching for a new job. There is nothing worse than a wet noodle handshake, something that is limp and weak and feels like a dead fish in your hand. You should avoid that at all costs. You might need to leave a position, a temporary position, because of a permanent job, because of another temporary position that's better, or because you really hate your job and you need to give notice. Whatever the reason, you should always give notice. So the advice I would give is to talk to your new supervisor about the scenario and tell them that you wanted to provide the courtesy of giving 2 weeks notice. If they will not allow you to do that, and it has to be immediate, do what you can to try to give as much notice as possible, even if it's a week. So you're using LinkedIn, you're probably making new connections with hiring managers and recruiters. You're looking at competitors and what they're doing. You're making new connections. Well, what you may not know is all this is not necessarily kept confidential. So there are some privacy settings that you can do to make sure this is confidential. Here are the following settings that I would suggest. Under profile edits, you should turn that off so people don't know you're editing your profile. Under activity feed, that should be only you. Under seeing what others see when you viewed their profile, that should also be in private mode. And to see your connections, you should keep those private and only you should be able to see your connections. Now, let's talk about connections. If you are connected with somebody and you want to reach out to them or they reach out to you, it goes from one account to another. That's called an in-mail, and connections are free to do so. However, if you are not connected, somebody can't contact you directly that way. You actually need to be a connection to do that. So make sure to set your connections. But to eliminate that step, I would suggest that you add contact information on the front of your page. There is a place in your profile where you can add your contact information, such as your phone number and your email. So you should do so.
Today, our guest star, Darius Fredwell, he is going to discuss counteroffers with you. Please, Darius.
Thanks a lot, Leigh. When it comes to career counseling for professionals, there are 2 cardinal rules. 1, never burn a bridge, and 2, never accept a counteroffer.
Oftentimes you're going to have to get involved with email as opposed to the phone. And so it's important because in email, you can't see tone, you can't see enthusiasm, you can't see gestures, anything like that. So you have to figure out a way to convey your interest in an email and try not to make sure your email doesn't come off in any negative tones. So you've got an interview and it's all done. What do you do next? Do you leave? No. First, you ask for the job. Today I'm going to talk about thank you letters and if you should send a thank you letter, whether it's handwritten or if it's emailed. So yes, of course you should send a thank you letter, and it should say something about thanking you for your time, why you're a good fit, and your interest in the company or the firm. For law firms and corporate legal departments, I actually recommend doing a handwritten note, but if you don't have the time or the ability to do so in a quick duration, then I would send it in an email. But make sure you spell check and make sure you get the names right and send a thank you letter to everybody that's involved. So please take this advice. I hope it helps you. And that's the 411 with Leigh. I'll see you next time.